Ale są to nikogo nie znam.
To są etapy.
Ja się nie kupuję. Firma grupa meet.js nie kupuje pierwszego rzędu za kolegę pozostającego. Naprawdę, dzisiaj chciałem się upewnić, że na pewno miał tyle godzinie, że sobie nie byłem więcej liczyć. Poza tym sam Google'a, żeby
Puszczać to.
wtedy puścisz to komentarz.
That's important to me.
Generalnie nie wyłączy, będzie dobre. Ale ta bateria, muszę ją wyciągnąć z powerbanka. Jeśli nie tak, to głównie był problem techniczny.
You can understand the difficulties and the meaning doctor is also very responsible. We need doctors as well. But on the other hand, so yeah, I kind of
Temat jest najciężej jest wymyślić. Można sobie kiedyś, nie miał trochę czasu i sobie podpisuję jakieś rzeczy na głowie, co jest ciekawego. Taki czas, że się tak dałem i powiem
No, to właściwie to jest niestety.
no, było. Ale robisz to w ogóle? Pamiętam, że kiedyś prawie...
Teraz wróciłem do tego, jestem... Wróciłem do tego, że czekam mają to jest bardziej
Jakie przesunięcie ręki i już dużo zmienia.
tak, dokładnie. Chodzi o to, pierwszy klient to jest pracę mam bardzo spoko.
Większość takich designów teraz takich działa. Już raz nie musi, ale się jak coś, jakieś potrzebował, mam nadzieję,
tak jak pierwsza jedna szyja
Algeria.
Człowiek nie docenia tego, że może się
Come on, man. Speak Arabic, yes. Yeah, because the Azerbaijan one of us speaks that Egyptian people try to understand different groups, and there are difficulties to understand because the accent more like a mix in French. Yeah, that's why.
Właśnie, oni
They were
była
a lot of
przerwy.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Mam nadzieję, że zrobię.
Okej. A nie, bo dzisiaj o 15 mieliśmy jeszcze próbę prezentacji. No i tam nie mówiłem takich rzeczy, mówiłem, że zrobiła sobie Monika tak pierwszy przerwy w trakcie prezentacji.
But our first
No bo Gada przez 20 minut to mówiła. Chodzi o to, żeby były takie momenty, przynajmniej dwa, że robi taki moment, który mówi, okej, do tej pory powiedziałam o tym i o tym, jest moment na oddech, a teraz powiem wam o kolejnej rzeczy. Po prostu, żeby utrzymać strukturę i ludzie cały czas wiedzieli, co żebyś ty wiedział. Ponieważ w trakcie tej próby, którą robiliśmy, Monika sama robiła tę przerwę, że one się pojawiały w momencie, jak nie wiedziała, co ma zrobić. Jak był moment, kurde, nie wiem, gdzie jestem, to będzie robiła przerwę. I powiedziałem, że lepiej tę przerwę zaplanować, żeby się zorientować, gdzie rzeczywiście jest.
Yeah, if you want, it's all right.
Ja mam super mocny więc...
And then once I came,
Życiowa lekcja.
Ja właśnie chciałam godzinę na przygotowanie pierwszej gry.
Będzie zajebista prezentacja.
Mam nadzieję, że to będzie pierwszy raz.
Pierwszy raz w ogóle mówisz?
like a hooping
No, moja pierwsza prezentacja byłem mocno stawiony, naprawdę mocno. Ludzie widzieli, że byłem. Mateusza. No. Tak? Okej.
what do you like more?
Dobra, istnieje.
Taka wersja istnieje. Niedaleko rynku, takie miejsce, gdzie chyba teraz jest blisko morza.
Wiem, o czym mówisz, to było coś jeszcze?
Tak, coś takiego. O, chyba tak, chyba tak.
To było straszne, jak właśnie któregoś dnia w moim przychodzą do zwierząt,
Tak, teraz jest blisko, dokładnie. No. Ja miałem swoją pierwszą prezentację w życiu i wyszedłem, nie pamiętam, 2-3 minut i naprawdę miałem tak, leciałem po prostu zero stresu. Tak. A też, że wiesz, to nie mówię, to było dobre.
That's important. So like
Zbudowałem i ludzie nie śmiali, że zapytałem się trochę jak rapper na scenie. Wiesz. Bardzo ekspresyjny, no. Nie, no. Nie, po prostu. A tak, wydaje mi się, że była sporo łatwiejsza, no. A pierwsze to było trudniejsze, bo jakby to było... No pierwsze doświadczenie mimo wszystko było tego do ludzi. Jakby miałem jakieś doświadczenie z mówieniem do ludzi, z wychowaniem, ale tak, żeby zrobić coś innego, to jednak była duża różnica. No, ale byłem zadowolony w sumie, bo się ustawiła do mnie na kolejkę ludzi, którzy nie obrać, którzy nie miałem racji. To wydaje to była naprawdę ostatnia prezentacja. Ja zrobiłem swoją i nagle ludzie się obudzili, żeby mnie opierdolić, że nie miałem racji. To jest bardzo spoko. Znaczy nie, ja uważałem, że nie mam racji. Tylko, że to była prezentacja, którą robiłem stwierdziłem, że ja nie nic kurwa. Ale, więc jakby, wiesz, treść była do poprawy, ale za to attitude bardzo to wiesz, na dużym poziomie, po prostu.
Pewnie siebie, ja wam tutaj powiem prawdę.
Dokładnie, przede wszystkim, no, 19 lat chyba, jest to tak, wiesz, pewnie siebie, czy tak, że ja wiem, że wszyscy, wiesz, 30-40 programiści patrzyli na idiotę.
Yeah, because not every let's say
Jaki słaby jest, ale nikt nie używa teraz JavaScriptie. No, dokładnie. Dwie klasy z Pademagerem musimy nie chceć.
Ale ja nie mam
Mogę świat zastosowane.
energią, którą ja miałem.
And first of all, you start like let's say
Ja na przykład też mam przyspiesza. Ja mam doświadczenia kależy, no w miarę mówię wyraźnie, to pewnie przyspiesza ale tak, takie uświadomienie sobie, że czasem można zrobić 5 sekund oddechu, co jest zupełnie spoko i to sprawia, że gdzieś lepiej. Bo jak jest ciągłe słowo, to może się ktoś wyłączyć. I dzięki temu
being
to ty masz pewną Czy ja nie mówię? Cóż jest
everyone starting 6 years and then how you are using that information in your particular is it like really from your game from internships from the just curious, yeah. Yes, yes.
Daj spoiler.
Tak, znaczy to chciałem mówić o zacząłem prezentację w sensie tam jest, ale potem stwierdziłem, że mało ludzi
Wyższy polecamy meet.js, jaki poziom się musi wbić. Za każdym razem jak się zbiera projekt, że większy wynik, młodsi,
Yeah, mostly it comes and one is very cool in Poland, it's much more yeah, most of them all of them, most of them online. It's equal or something. In my country, they can just like handwriting. They are handwriting is really Yeah, I don't know, last time I didn't but when I was there, I was not younger, and then if I was on the debut, it was like this one goal, you know, you can even then I can take it for and then for me.
I przyciągnąć do śledzia meet.jsa i potem na drugie bardzo dwa. Tak zabrzmiało jak...
Nie jest połączek, ale tak, robi ostatnią prezentację na meetupie, robić tekst, choć dobra, teraz będą trudne rzeczy, jak to się da powiedzieć, jakby się nie miało różnicy, bo nie ma sensu, żeby się dzieje. Robię jakąś hardkorową typową prezentację na zasadzie na mocno to jest jakby on ma... Nie, ale on też ma taki styl po prostu. On jakby to jest, nie jest jego poza, on taki jest po prostu na co dzień. To takie, jak ci się nie chce, to ja się nie będę.
Wyciągałem telefon.
No nie, no ale tak. To jest rozumiem problem, żeby na ile wejść techniczne rzeczy, które naprawdę nie a jest wciąż naprawdę trudno. Tak,
ale ja za takimi rzeczami takie naprawdę grube nadają na presję. Ludzie jakbyś chciał, nie wiem, jak siedzisz na przykład, masz pozycję pracy, robisz kilka operacji z ludźmi, tylko 5 innych osób będzie interesowało. Nie ma jak powiedzieć, to by to musiał być jakieś swoje momenty, 2 godziny, na którym chodzisz i pokazujesz. Bo gdzieś weszli do przodu to inną rzecz. Są rzeczy połączone troszeczkę takie ogólniejsze, czego się wydaje, to nie jest nieprawda, ale
Marka znalazła.
Jeden Siedzę ograny, znowu robi to samo, ale wrzuci z mema, z slajdów i ma bardzo dobry film, wiedział z tego lubię.
Nie wrzucać? No?
Ale wiesz co, jak zmiana sił,
Jak ja robiłem prezentację, to połowę mojej roboty to było do wylewy. Tak, no.
to co, nawet jest taki problem, przy okazji, ale robię to, że teraz na parę slajdów muszę być coś graficznego, co wybija ludzi, jak na przykład będzie 15 slajdów od rządu, to one się robią na potem, tak dobrze mieć parę tych, jak masz fajny, nie wiem, pajczan, to widzę, ale nie ma co wrzucać śmiesznego chomika albo patana i też zadziała, żeby ten tempo tak jakby tej nikt nie zaprzeczy, że są bardzo zopiniowane, zopiniowane człowieka, są też zopiniowane jego opiniami. Naprawdę się nie takimi rzeczami, że słuchaj, jakbyś tak robił, to będzie lepiej, musimy zaufać, ale faktycznie on parę zajmuje ci żart, albo mema, albo sam jakiś żart stworzy. No i w sumie jak przepływa na płacu. Ale zawsze wychodzisz taki zadowolony. Nie no, ale zaczynam, bo już mu dałeś ocenę na 5, bo się bardzo zastanawiam. On jest często jak gra wchodził i zaczynał się bardziej, to najważniejsze potem jakby ruszać z flowem, bo jak kilka, ale zawsze mam taki bardzo niszowe i mniejsze rzeczy, bo on jest człowiekiem, który
miałem tam pójść w Explorer, ale powiedzieli mi, że jestem zbyt juniorem wtedy. No to byłem.
Hello everyone. Oh, okay, it's working. It's so good to see you there. We have more than 30 people and we haven't expected that much, so welcome everyone. I know we are competing with this great weather outside, so thank you so much. I'm happy to greet all of you here on behalf of Oanda, of course, but also our partners and neighbor Software Mansion, 6th floor neighbor, and of course meet.js. Today is the second time when we have an opportunity to collaborate with meet.js and hosting that meetup in our office. By the way, is there anyone who already participated in our previous meetup in October? 3 people. 4. 5. Okay, good to see you back, guys. 6, high on hand. So for those who don't know us yet, Oanda is a market leader in forex trading with offices around the world. Toronto, Kraków, Singapore, London, and Warsaw, the newest one. And we offer trading on mobile apps, web platforms, which will be basically the topic of our next presentation, prepared by Bartek and Joe. So again, welcome everyone. And let me quickly introduce the agenda. So we are starting with presentation by Bartek and Joe. Joe will join us virtually. Bartek is with us. Then we have presentation from Mariusz and from Kasia. We will also be announcing Monika, of course. I'm sorry. You have an extra beer for me. And we will also be announcing contest and at the end contest winners, of course. We also have some break for pizza and beer at the end of the event. So speaking about that, about networking, about presentations, about the whole stuff that's going to happen here, on the left side there is fridge, which is fully equipped for you guys, but I noticed that some of you already discovered this magic spot, so feel free to get some snacks and beer. I'm also happy to welcome Paulina Matsuga from Software Mansion, who's a sponsor of our prize in our contest. Yep, and speaking about contest, so we have 3 prizes. We are competing for Sony headphones, App.js conference pass, and discount for that conference. And if you would like to take part in that competition, please scan this QR code. And for those who joined virtually, you will get the link on YouTube stream. Yep, everyone? You can approach me later if you would like to scan this QR code or get the link, just in case. And yeah, this is the riddle for those who would like to win one of these prizes. This is the challenge, this is the riddle to solve. And competition starts at like now, and we will summarize at 8 p.m. and announce the winners later. Okay, perfect. I guess I will pass to Andrzej. You ready?
Yeah.
Perfect. Quick introduction from meet.js side, I guess, and we can go with presentations. Thank you.
Thank you. Good enough. Okay. Hi guys, I'm gonna take my computer. Yeah, so first of all, it's really awesome to see all of you, because like these meetups are going already for few years. Some of you, I hope some of you don't know me. I hope most of you don't know me. That would be awesome. Because, you know, it's always good to get some fresh air on those meetups. I'm super happy that you are all here. I'm super happy to see that many people, and mostly people who, as we've seen, were not been before, or you haven't been here before, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm basically the guy from meet.js, and we're doing these meetups, as I said, for a few years already. We're doing them all around Poland. In Kraków, it's like, I don't know, it's 10 years or maybe 15 years, no idea. We're super happy to be in Oanda again. It's always a good and easy cooperation. I'm just gonna tell you latest news from JavaScript world, because I know everything changes so fast and nobody has time to actually check what's going on every day. So I do it from time to time to be able to actually share the news with you. And later I'm gonna say a few more things about Meetup. Yeah, so this is not that news. It's not so new because it's like from the end of the March, but it is still super interesting news that, no, yeah, still let's say it's news that React actually released the version 18.0, and they've published the concurrent React and all the features connected with that allow you to create more responsible UIs way easier. I'm kind of happy, sad, both on this, because I hate to see React grow into this huge beast. It's way harder to use right now because the API grows hugely, and it's like, I loved React when it started, when like you just had your component and it was all you had to know. Right now there is just millions of new APIs, so yeah, it's way easier to create responsive UIs, but you know, you need to get to know all these APIs and actually learn how to use them properly. So yeah, kind of happy sad on this. Another thing, still from React, because I don't care about Angular, that's there is another proposition of a new hook. If you don't know what hook is, I'm not gonna explain. If you know what hook is, then it's a little better. There is a new proposition to create a use event hook in React that allows React programmers to create safe event handlers, which is actually cool. And this is, I have the same feeling as with React 18. Like, it's super cool because it's safer to create event handlers easily with hooks, but it's super not cool because it's more and more weird APIs. So yeah, React grows. Like at this point, you cannot think about like React as a library. You have to think like about React like its basis layer for your application. Like, instead of browser API, you have React API, because otherwise it just doesn't make sense to use it, because yeah, it grows and grows. Other stuff, it's super interesting. Yeah, it's actually new because it's from my 5th, so yeah, it's fairly new. Babylon.js, which is a library to create games, 3D visualizations, and what you want. You can easily create, like if you have, or if you create 3D models, you can, with Babylon, you can, for example, make them interactive, super easy, add shaders, add meshes, whatever you want. And I played a bit with it, it's super cool if you want to have anything 3D interactive in browser. So with version 5.0, they started to use WebGPU, and actually I didn't really know about WebGPU that much before I get to know about Babylon 5.0. So instead of WebGL, which was already cool, we have WebGPU, so we're even closer to the metal in browser, and we can create super fast games, visualizations, and whatever working directly in browser. It's really worth checking out. This is just, you know, some GIFs, but I actually checked it out by myself, and it's roughly the same performance on my old machine, so it's really cool. Other than that, oh yeah, there is Typescript, version 4.7, and I remember, like, when I was starting to program, I always thought I should learn Haskell someday, because Haskell has this great type system, and I will not be a programmer unless I learn a proper type system. And right now I think, let's fuck Haskell, I have TypeScript, because like TypeScript type system is really growing quickly, and they have insanely nice features that allow you to track the execution of your code without even running the code with just type system. So in version 4.7 they have better control flow analysis, they have better types inference and functions, which is really like, it's really cool. This is the, for me, it's the level of type correctness I would expect from Haskell and Occam and other guys. I'm not sure, you know, is it there yet, but it's really getting closer to be able to just write type correct programs without much typing. So yeah, this is really, really nice stuff in TypeScript going on. Then there is this weird, I think, I don't know, it's weird for me, the proposition to create deferring module evaluation. So instead of waiting some time to download a module, you can download a module right now in JS. But for example, if there is, I don't know, weird calculation in your module, or if you have to if you have to create like a bunch of objects, bunch of functions in your huge module, and you want to wait for it until it's needed, then there is a proposition to do it. It's, I don't know, it's weird, honestly, it's weird, because there is just another way of importing your modules, so you can kind of work more on a browser level instead of just a programmer level. But if you create huge applications and you really need to start some modules later, then I think maybe it's usable for you. Oh, and this is really cool stuff. For some reason, a few months ago, or maybe, I don't know, a year ago, I had to lose my Emacs, and I had to start working in Visual Studio Code. And actually, I'm not sad about it anymore, because I was sad for about 3 months, because I wanted to have my Emacs. Right now, I just work in Visual Studio Code, and I have all my Vim shortcuts and all the other weird stuff. And just a few days ago, I found out there is this super awesome plugin to VS Code that allows you, if you work with React, because as I said, I don't care about Angular, so if you work with React and you have your application opened in the browser, you can click on the component, and this plugin will bring you to the specific place in VS Code, to the source code of this particular component, so you don't have to go to DevTools. You can just go directly to the place where this component is defined, which is really nice. Like, this is proper developer experience. And the last thing,
How is it called?
it's called Click to Component.
Oh,
Is it only for React or React Native as well?
Don't know. Unfortunately, don't know. I am afraid it's only React. I doubt it's React Native, but maybe, I don't know, something to check. And the last thing, super weird. I did not expect this thing to ever happen. Like, I wouldn't think anything like that will happen in web. But there is in Chrome Canary, there is a new feature called page transitions. So there will be a custom functionality to create animated page transitions between your HTML pages. So if you just build your dumb HTML page without any JS, any React, whatever, but you want to have, I don't know, fade in, fade out, anything like that, let's maybe, there is a moment where Jake was showing it, maybe I will be able to. It doesn't want to work with me. Okay, yeah, now it's probably crashed or something. But still, the feature is kinda weird, kinda cool. Yes, exactly, it crashed. So it is on in Chrome Canary, and maybe once again I will be able. Yeah, exactly. So as you can see here, there is a way in Chrome Canary to create such page transitions with CSS between HTML pages. This is weird. For me, maybe it's cool. I don't know yet, but yeah, this is another new way of development of web and creating better experiences. I think, I don't know, maybe. So this is the last news from my side. Yeah, the other important thing for today is that we do encourage all of you to make presentations in here, because as you can see, anyone can speak. So you don't have to, well, you don't have to be 100% sober. So, you can tell about anything you find interesting, and we really encourage all of you to make a presentation here, because it's like, this is the reason these meetups are organized. We just want to meet with people and share knowledge, and that's what's gonna happen today. And yeah, if I can speak, all of you can. So if you have an idea for presentation, you can find me and talk with me about it. You can write to us on Meetup, or however you find properly to find us. Yeah, so do it. It's awesome, and it's way easier to find a job and have a good salary after you start talking to people like I do right now. Honestly, it is. So I once again encourage all of you to do it. If you have a topic but you think you cannot make a presentation, write me, find me anyway, we will do it together. And next meetups will be soon, so make sure to follow our meetup page, meetup.js. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Have a beer, have a pizza in 2 hours or something. And I hope you will be pleased with all our today's presentations, and thank you.
Thank you, Andrzej. Good seeing you here as well. Can I just ask you for a few seconds for me to sit up? Okay, we're almost here. And welcome, and I hope that Joe, who's joining us online, is also able to hear me. Joe, can you confirm? No? Small technical difficulties. It used to work a few minutes before the meetup, so there is no reason why it shouldn't work now. No. Okay. Let's drop and rejoin. It always works, right? Hello, Joe. Can you hear us right now? Can you say something? Okay, we're almost there. That's the first time off we're doing it. Okay, Joe, can you hear us now? Perfect. Okay, so welcome everyone to our next presentation. We're together with Joe McKevitt, who's joining us from Northern Ireland. We'll try to take you through this topic. So I guess before Joe starts, I would like to set the scene for this presentation. So
So if I can ask you to imagine you're at a soccer game and you're watching your favorite team playing, like 20,000 people sitting around you. The game is really intense, and then at some point the game just freezes. All you can see is a freeze frame, and everyone is cheering, but you don't know what happened. And that was the only goal of this evening. So the team won, but you missed on seeing that you paid for it and you didn't enjoy it. So today we'll try to take you through how to make sure your applications perform better. Of course, applications that are served to your online users, but that's the same thing. If someone is paying for your service, they should be able to enjoy it as every other person that's also on your app. So with that being said, Joe will take you through the first part of the presentation. So Joe, over to you.
Thank you, Bart. So good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the office. I've never been there, so I hope it's nice. So yeah, did we do intros, Bart? I wasn't online, so I don't think we've done intros yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
So go ahead, Bart. You can lead this one.
So Joe is our principal software engineer, like I mentioned, from Northern Ireland today. And my name is Bartosz Jakubowek. I'm an engineering manager here at Oanda, Kraków.
Awesome. Thank you. And today we're going to really talk about our approach to performance testing at Oanda. So we'll go through, what really is a performance test suite and how we execute performance tests. But as it's JavaScript, JavaScript group as well, we talk about implementation and showing you by example and give you practical tips, right? We even have a sample app that we can share and show. Okay? So the why, the how, and some takeaways from today. So as you're probably aware, the analogy Bart was using around the football match, okay? At Oanda we build and produce trading applications, and our customers are making investments. Some of them really crucial investments, right? So can you imagine them when suddenly everything stops working, okay? And suddenly they get that freeze, okay? And this is what happens, right? Our customers get irate when they have issues, right, around their money, okay? As you can totally understand, right? So it's a very, very serious customer experience in fintech and in finance that they don't have any performance issues or any blind spots when we're trading and can see their investments. So it's crucial for the customer. We're a very customer-focused company, so clearly that matters. But also we're in regulated environments. So not only are we annoying our customers when we have performance issues, but also we get penalized when we do have performance issues. So some of them are quite hefty fines with the regulators, and we've got multiple regulators across the world for a global company. So we have the customer annoyance, customer impact, we have the regulatory impact, and then of course brand. Trading systems that aren't performant is not a good brand, right? So it's crucial for our legacy and for the company rapport and client acquisition that we have a very good brand. So this really rises up what we call expectations, right? So clearly performance is important. So what is the expectations for like Oanda, our trading system, right, regarding performance? And we use a technique well known in the industry called service level agreements. So that's the starting point where we have this high expectation. We actually write it down what it means, a contract, an agreement between a customer and Oanda, right? So therefore we frame that around, this is the expectation. If I sign up to your platform, you agree you'll hit these levels, okay? And it's very quantitative, right? It's very descriptive, very exact, right? That's between our business and the customer, right? So that's external facing. Then we take the SLO, it's an internal objective. So now we take that agreement, and as a product team, so as Bart mentioned, I work with the the training system team calls it universal platform. We own this product, right? The training platform. So we have our own objective, right? And normally that's a much higher watermark level of expectation than what you give to your customer. Okay? So in shortly, we'll give some examples, right, what that means. But that's our internal objective, you can imagine, right, as a team. Right? So we make that to our CTO or to our board, right? As a product team, we will commit to building a platform that will hit this objective, right? So it's an internal goal, okay? And then finally, you have your SLI, which is service level indicator. This is reality, okay? So we have an agreement with the customer, then we have our goal we set aside, we want to aim for. Then we have reality, how we actually are performing in production, right? So this is where your observability and your monitoring metrics comes in. So usually what happens is then you can see what reality versus your objective or your agreement, okay? And this is a technique to take that expectation and break it down into something you can describe it and piece together. So let me go through a couple of examples just to make it more clear. So the first example I'm going to go through today is actually the example of maybe an SLA we do in our exercise that Bart will show you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we have let's just say our Fibonacci application that we built, right? Simple app, but we say 90% of the traffic will fall under 40 milliseconds. Now you'll see this used all over our presentation today for percentiles. So anyone who's unfamiliar with performance testing or SLAs, percentiles are really, really important metric. We have shared a link at the end of the slide deck called How Not to Measure Performance by Gene Till. He gave a QCon many, many years ago. But basically, you don't use averages, you don't use as max to measure your performance or set your SLAs, SLOs, or SLIs. Okay? Use percentages. So in this term here, we have 9 out of 10 requests will be under 400 milliseconds. That's the agreement you made with the customer. Okay? Objective, as I said, we move the watermark higher. Okay, so 95% of our requests will be under 30 milliseconds. Okay, so 19 out of 20 requests will be under 30 milliseconds. So we hit that goal, internal goal, then you can see we have lots of room to ensure we can hit our customer's goal. Okay, lots of margin for error, right? And that's the buffer you want to create, right? And then finally, SLI. So we have observability. You'll see that with Bart. We'll have some metrics, observability around actual latency times. Okay, how long our traffic actually takes to see, are we falling within our SLO, or are we falling outside our SLO? Okay? So generally in performance, you see, you think a lot latency is one of the key ones, but you can also tier this around uptime or availability, right? Because if your system's getting performance issues, it might just die, right? And again, that's the agreement you make with your customer around availability. And again, you'll see that in percentiles. 99 percentile, or 95 percentile in this demonstration to our customer, 99 percentile as an SLO. And then the indicator is your uptime metrics, okay? And then finally then, you're going to have one for response time. Again, this is fairly typical in SLA terms, is how quickly you can respond to an issue, right? So particularly with our regulators, that's very, very important in SLA, right? If you do have a priority one issue, how quickly can you respond to that? Again, that's the agreement we sign up to, okay? So the key takeaway you want to take from this is you have this vague expectation, right? You break it down into something concrete, which is an agreement, which then you can build towards, you can engineer towards, okay? And it's transparent, it's agreed, and it should be a negotiation, right? Between realistic, we do 5 nines, availability, yes, but that's a lot of engineering costs around that, right? So the key point is that we use these terms to have a very clear, transparent expectation of what's expected from our product when it comes to performance. Now, when you're the product team, even though it's explicit, you have this concrete, it can be quite stressful given, like I said, the worries around customer impact, brand, and the regular refinement, right? So how do we sleep at night, right? How do we deal with this, okay? And it probably won't surprise you, it involves a little bit of testing, right? So we use, we have a number of different types of performance tests you can set up, okay? Where each performance test can give you a different outcome of understanding of the system. So you can have a typical load test, which simulates synthetic traffic onto your system. So it could be just like in our world, the trading system, it could be all our users opening and placing trades, right? We could stress test, which is a test that we bombard our system to understand our breaking point, our capacity of our system, okay, when it falls over, right? So we know, where our current level of traffic is versus our capacity, right? In our world, when markets open and markets close, there's a natural increase of traffic, or an event has been announced, like a company's going to, like Elon Musk said something on Twitter, everyone gets online, starts trading, right? Okay? So we have the stampede effect, and that's where stress test comes in. Under short bursts, how does your system behave? And then soak test is the one where we run over a long time. So your system is running, it's dealing with all the traffic. Do you have any memory leaks or any issues that will bring you down over a long period of time? Now, the thing here is you probably see, especially if you're unfamiliar with performance tests, you've got all these different types of tests, and there's more, right? But the key point here is just start testing, okay? And that's what we did, right? So you start off with your product, the earlier the better. Don't worry about having these sophisticated types of tests, different profiles, different models, even trying to think, how can I realistically create a realistic model to simulate real usage? You start with just start testing, like we did, right? So if that's the key, start the ritual, the culture of running your tests, okay? Especially in a company where performance has a reputational damage and you have these SLAs, the only way to know you can deal with the SLA is to run your performance tests, okay? And we started with simple tests, simple models, and like everything in IT, you iterate and evolve. So then when it comes to the principles then, how we deal in Oanda is, we have three key principles. The first principle is we write and run the performance tests, okay? Right, so we have a set of tests which are, we're constantly evolving and chipping into. We run them all the time, okay? So there's no point in having a burst, like a waterfall model where you're building your platform, you have your feature heavy, and then you have this little slot, maybe for 2 or 3 weeks, where you performance test and then launch, right? Always be performance testing, especially once you go live. And at Oanda we use continuous delivery, and maybe that's for another talk part, right? You can ship intraday, right? So when you're shipping intraday, you always be testing to see where you are with the latest code base, okay? And then, most importantly, you need to have a culture of when you hit those performance issues and you identify the bottlenecks, you do something about it. You actually correct. So in reality, on a product team, that would be prioritizing investigation and fixing the performance bottlenecks along with the feature enhancements. Okay? If you let the performance issues rot in your backlog, just sit there, and you're waiting for your customers to test your code, right? And that's not what we want. Okay? So culturally, you have to be comfortable with prioritizing performance, fixing performance bugs, at the same time dealing and prioritizing the feature enhancements. That has to be your culture. Okay? So just repeat that. Write tests, run the tests regularly, and when you do identify issues, deal with them. Okay? We don't ignore them, right? Otherwise, your customers are going to see them, right? And you will eventually have to deal with them. Just you being proactive, right? Now, at Oanda, given that principles, right? At Oanda, we had a really good think about how can we organize ourselves, make that as easy as possible, right, to hit those 3 principles. Okay, so that's where we came around this practice. So organizational-wise, we have this sort of DevOps mentality where if you build it, you own it. So Bart leads up our product team, our universal platform team, and in there, we own our own performance tests. Okay, so the SLA we agree with the customer, the team have an SLO, right, that they agree on the performance, and it's the team themselves who are accountable for making sure the application can meet that SLO. Okay, so we don't have a SME centralized performance team that deal with performance. and they're specialists, right? And, you know, in the other team, we just build the features and then we ship it into a particular environment, and then this other team, performance team, will run it. That's not how we're organized, okay? We're organized where the team that produced the features and the product also responsible for building, writing, and running the tests. Okay, so that's a key design slot. Now, when we bring that on to the second point, really, is that because the team own it, they have autonomy on how they want to run the tests, the language they want to run the tests, the frameworks they want to run the tests. And you'll see that has a lot of influence on us at Oanda. You look at how we, the language the team uses is the same language we write the tests. In fact, we even have the same repository. So the code exists in the same as, the code exists for the platform as it exists with the tests. And that's deliberate, right? So as we evolve the platform, you can see we're also evolving the tests. It's the same team, the same contributors, okay? And then finally, we also have control about how we run the tests. We build that into our process, okay, or our pipeline, okay? So again, we don't have a handoff where we give it to another team. We actually embed it into how we work. We build that quality in. So in practice, this means we set the test up to run on our pipeline. Okay, so at Oanda we use Circle CI. So you'll see that it's very much part of our processes where we run these tests, okay, as part of our sign-off. Okay, but the key point here is that it's all about ownership of the one team own everything. Okay, and that's deliberate. So let's talk about how we actually do it in practice in Oanda. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see this is our sort of general technology set for our universal platform, our latest platform that Bart and the team lead on. Okay, so we're React Native, we've got a GraphQL API. We're running Node that's driven on the language of Typescript, running in a Kubernetes cluster that's running on GCP. Okay, so that gives you a picture of just our tech stack, right? And we're a cross-functional team, so developers you can work in the front end as well as the back end. So it's all good like that. So taking that spirit, when it came to running our principles, running our tests, we went for a test framework called K6, which is a JavaScript and TypeScript native test framework, and that basically is test as code. So Bart will demonstrate this in a couple of seconds. But really, this is about the idea where the team can reuse libraries that they wrote on their platform and rerun them in the tests. Okay, and as we change the platform, we can also change the tests, right? Same developers, okay? We also use Prometheus and Grafana as key technologies. We actually, for reporting the results from the tests, and we also have our monitoring dashboards. We run our tests, we can see the performance of the app. This falls into that bucket of SLI, right? So again, that's deliberate because the Grafana and Prometheus are our go-to technologies for our monitoring and operations anyway. And so that's the rationale behind our tech stack. Okay? The one takeaway to take from all of this, right, apart from this cool text, right? The one takeaway is that this is all owned and decided by the team. Okay? And it's all tests code. Right? Even the schedule, right, which Bart will show. And that's the key point, to make it easy to follow those principles of writing tests, running tests, and dealing with performance issues. Okay? So at the end, you can ask me more questions if you like about our approach and how we introduced it. But I'd like to take over now to Bart, who will go through more the practical aspect of this.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Let me just quickly change presentation. Into one controlled by me here. So Joe will stay here for the Q&A till the end. Just quickly go through this. Okay, so that's where we left off. Okay, so today I will take you through a journey on testing one particular application. For today, I chose one very well-known algorithm, the Fibonacci sequence. It can be written in a lot of different ways. It can be very performant. It can be